Good afternoon. It's September 11th, and I'm in the Warehouse District. I've talked about walking here for a while, and I've sort of walked along Dudney there, but I haven't really walked up and down the streets in this direction, so that's what we will do. You can see it's called the Warehouse District because at least at one point there were a lot of warehouses here. Mostly the big buildings along Dudney are warehouses. And there's a lot of other businesses and things here. I do have my old microphone working again. Oh yes, Long and McQuaid musical instruments. So I bought my podcasting microphone, I think. And I bought other things there over the years. I do have my old microphone here is working for the moment. I managed to get it charged with a little extra effort, so hopefully it stays working. I'll keep an eye on the little blue light. Cloudy, fairly cool. Albert Street is just one block that way. Extreme Hockey here, sporting goods store. What was I saying? Oh yes, theoretically it's going to start raining in about an hour, so have to keep an eye out for that. Now the challenge here is that some of these streets are pretty busy, so I may have to wait a minute to cross them as I go north to south. But we'll kind of just work street by street here through the Warehouse District. Arrow Plumbing and Heating. Oh well, we managed this one so far. That's good. 22 Fresh. Clothing store, I believe, primarily. Auto service. Limousine services. Mural over there. I don't really walk in this area, so this is all new to me. ThyssenKrupp elevator, so elevator servicing. E-bikes and hot tubs. Interesting mixture. It's like, what, air conditioning, maybe? But even in here, there are the occasional flashes of landscaping. There's some lovely rose bushes. Those are really quite nice. Oh, very nice. Nice pink one there. Those are lovely. That looks like a hot tub store as well. It would actually be easier to go long ways, so maybe I'll do that. I've walked down the one just behind me, so if I turn down this one, depends on the sidewalk situation too. You know, I already am feeling little spits of rain, but hopefully it doesn't amount to anything much. If anybody's there, say hi. It's a little different time for me today. We've already done our farmer's market and grocery store and all that sort of stuff. All right, we'll go this way. Sidewalks on the other side, of course, it would be. Regina Rent-It Center. Some old buildings along here. Foster Shoes. In fact, the pair of shoes I'm wearing now, I think we bought there. They carry New Balance, which I like a lot. Training center there. So, you know, it's not necessarily the most scenic part of town, but there's a lot of stuff in it. This is 7th, so I've walked along Dudney and then back on 8th, so now I'm kind of continuing that. It's been a while since I did that, but, well, Dudney wasn't that long ago. Saskatchewan Ministry of Central Services. It's a rather vague and ominous sounding government name, isn't it? Part of our current dystopian society is what that sounds like. Tornado came along here back in 1912. Look right down the track, it points straight at the legislative building down there. Oops. Jacuzzi. For some reason there's lots of hot tub places around here. Cardiff Collision and Auto Glass. Great Western Saw. Wood and metalworking machinery. This is where my daughter's dance studio used to be, but it burned. But it was right here, and I used to drop her off for dance here, and then I could walk 2 blocks that way and go to Bushwhackers. So it was very handy at the time. But yeah, now it's just various things in there, but it was a smaller, older building, which had been their dance studio for a while. She was supposed to go for a tap rehearsal for her solo one morning, and got a call saying don't come. We didn't know why, and then I was looking at the news and saw that there was a fire in the Warehouse District, and sure enough, it was their studio. They bounced back, but the worst thing was that they had all these costumes hand sewn by seamstresses in Brazil that had been collected over the years, and tutus and things. They were all lost, of course. But the studio's still going, and my daughter, in fact, worked at it this last summer. Another old warehouse building with things in it, not to be more specific than that. Furniture store here. Oh, and I guess there's a clothing store in there too. I knew about this, Casa Decor. Richardson Lighting over on the next corner. Bought lighting there when we renovated, so we got our lighting. Some of it anyway. There's other lighting stores, but that was some of it. And Pat's Pets over there. Pet store. Bought stuff in there too. Cash Tactical. That I have no idea. Sounds ominous. There's still a few old houses tucked away in here. At one point this was residential. There was a big residential area here. People who worked in the warehouses that lined Dudney Avenue down there. So there's still a few of these old houses. Most of them are in pretty bad shape. Premium quality dog and cat foods. Fish, birds, reptiles, and small animals. Which kind of makes it sound like the fish, birds, reptiles, and small animals are what the quality dog and cat foods are made from. I don't think that's what they're going for. John Howard Society. Somebody did ask me if I would walk up by the old Sears Warehouse building, and that is what this walk will take me by eventually. Maybe, depending on how I structure it. Now, this is the old Sears store, really, I guess. I think it may have been an Eaton store to begin with. I should know, it's in my book, but I didn't check before I came. But it used to be kind of their discount store, surplus store, I guess. And it's not anymore, but it does have kind of a permanent mini market in there, Centennial Market. We'll see it again when I go around the corner and go back the other way. I think the Saskatchewan Writers Guild used to be in there, but that was a long time ago. Like 2-3 buildings ago for them. I think this is where I came when I did the 24-hour playwriting competition the first time. The Shock House, haunted house for Halloween, coming soon. Royal Sporting Goods. We're coming up here then to Broad. There's a Value Village over here. It's like a second-hand store. They'll take just about anything, so we've donated a lot of stuff to Value Village. Another drop just hit my head. Thanks for nothing. Pedestrians do have the right of way, though those gentlemen seem to have forgotten it. The Saskatchewan Arts Board is over here. I've been on juries a couple of times. I've never gotten a grant from them, but I've been on juries that decide who does a couple of times. And there's some other stuff in there. Then this used to be the John Deere building. And now it's got other things in it, but Brownstone Plaza. But at one point they sold farm equipment, even up on the upper floors. It has a really, really thick floors. Oh yes, this used to be where the Sears building that I pointed out was the Regina Rugby field. So the original Rough Riders played here back in the very early days. And my grandfather-in-law, I don't know if he played, I think he played with them. I have to look in his book again. Either played with them or at least tried out with them. Some other old buildings along here. Don't know what it was originally. Probably not a tattoo parlor. Also a boxing club over there. This one, as you can see, has the faint outlines of Goodyear on it, so that is presumably what it originally sold. Now, once you get past this, you get into the car dealerships. A whole line of them over there. And if you kept going this way, you get to the cemetery past those lights on this side of the street. It is starting to rain, so I will go but down this way, and we'll see if we want to keep going after we get back closer to the car, or if I decide to call it quits. I used to be the Army and Navy. Been a few things in here, and are still. And the antique mall here is a big one, if you're into antiques. So now we're coming up on the other side of the Sears building. Now, when I first moved to Regina and started working as communications officer for the Saskatchewan Science Center, the Science Center itself was still under construction in the old powerhouse down by the lake. And our offices were in this building here, past the antique mall, the one on the corner, up on the 3rd and 4th floors. I think our offices were on the 3rd floor, and the exhibit construction was going on the 4th floor. So that was my first place of work here in Regina, was in that building. It's condos now. But I remember it well. So here we come up on the Sears building again. Not any more Sears, but I still think of it that way. Yes, condos. Centennial Market Antique Warehouse. Entrance is just around the corner. 10 to 4, 7 days a week. I don't know how much of the building they use. It's a big building. I don't think I'll probably get down to the other big warehouse building there because of the incipient rain. But over here is where you would go in if you're going into the Centennial Mall. It uses that building. Now this building up here is condos too, but at one point it was Western Machine and Engineering, and my aforementioned grandfather-in-law, this was his business, was here, Western Machine and Engineering. We still have a lot of old letterhead and stuff around the house from that business. I've been in one of these condos, and I saw the inside of the building when it was still Western Machine and Engineering, so it's hard to believe they took that old industrial space and made some really nice condos, but the one I was in was quite nice. I think it was one of these two. I was there for a cast party after some show or other. Might have been cabaret. I wasn't in the cast, but I was on the board. I might have been here then. This was also Western Machine and Engineering. I think both those buildings were part of the business, if I remember right. It's been a long time. So what's in here now? Store fixtures. All sorts. Over here we have refrigerated supply. So far nobody has said hello. Hello, is this thing on? Here I am walking in a brand new place, and there's nobody walking with me. It's very sad, really. Sad and lonely. Nobody likes me. How long have I been out? Not even 20 minutes. I don't really want to cut it off. The rain doesn't amount to much yet. Probably okay to keep going. Downtown is always straight down the alleys there. Once you get away from the businesses that are open on weekends, it's much quieter. Far less traffic on this street than the previous one. Maybe partly because there's no light up here, so it's harder to get onto. If you're turning left on Albert, it's a little harder to get on from the end of this street. Also, we'll run into a problem here because of city stuff here. So I think, I'm not sure. I think I might want to go on down this way. Nature Conservatory of Canada right there, or Conservancy. I'm just not sure this next road goes through to Albert. I don't think it does, so if I went down to Albert, I'd be stuck. So we'll walk down here. Now I feel like I'm walking through the set of a zombie apocalypse movie. Except for the lack of zombies. So far. At least the microphone seems to remain in charge, so it must have charged okay. Yeah, this is all city stuff, as I recall. This road might have gone through, I just can't remember. It really doesn't look like it, so I think I made the right choice. Yes, you can't turn left here, so I did make the right choice. Enterprise Rent-A-Car, one of their more out-of-the-way locations. Truck rental, that explains it. I think the only time I've been in here was they have a hazardous waste disposal day. You can come and drop off stuff to be disposed of. I think it was in this building. We lined up along this street to get there. Oh, well, this will take me by the, because that's the big Sears Warehouse building there on the left. The rain is starting to come down a little harder. I'm committed now. I don't think I'll get soaked, but I might get a little damp. So what I'll do is walk over here. You can see the raindrops starting to show up on the sidewalks. Well, so much for the hourly forecast. It said rain would start at 2:50. That's still 35 minutes away. Still says Sears, as you can see. And that's the cemetery, one of the cemeteries across the street. I walked close to the other one when I was out in East Arcola just, is that 2 days ago? 3 days ago? It's off of Assiniboine. I won't go into the cemetery. I don't particularly want to walk through a cemetery. And do what? Make snide comments about the gravestones? Doesn't seem appropriate. But anyway, that's where it is. Could just take a silent walk through the cemetery. Maybe for Halloween. A silent walk in the cemetery in the rain under an umbrella seems to be the appropriate way to do that. And there's actually a memorial store just across the street. All right, we'll go this way down past the warehouse. Hi, working girl. Don't mind me, it's just getting rained on here. Cemetery across the street. Big blank brick wall on this side. You can see the trees are starting to change. Got to stay well away from the curb. They come right by on the curb here. So this used to be the Sears Warehouse. I would enjoy it more if the rain wasn't slowly intensifying and I'm 20 minutes from the car, and I'm walking away from it at the moment. So I'll probably cut this less than an hour for sure. Not the most scenic place I've walked. Cemetery over there. Blank brick wall on this side. Dirt path. Rain. Just sprinkling, but it's gotten quite a bit heavier since I first said, oh, it's not doing much. Oh well. Once we get around the corner, I'll be heading home again. Or back to the car again, I should say. Oops. Well, gotta fix that. Somehow that little raindrop managed to unerringly find the lens. Well, I won't be making a shortcut on the corner here. Anyway, there's somebody asked to see that, so here it is. That was the Sears Warehouse, sort of the catalog store. If you ordered something from the Sears catalog, it probably came through here. But it's been closed down for a while, and I don't know what, if anything, the plans are for that building. It may be coming down at some point. Probably be an implosion if they did. So again, car dealerships over here on the other side. BMW, Austin Mini. My Volvo repair guy had a shop on the next street over, but he went away some time ago, so I get it done. Mostly take it to OK Tire in South Albert. They do come down periodically and do a Volvo. People come down from Saskatoon and do a service clinic, but I don't. If I need something very Volvo specific, I'll take it up there myself. So the warehouse district continues on that side, and I'll do that at some other point over there. Yeah, just a big empty building now. There's the Infiniti dealership over there. Nissan, Mitsubishi. This is the road I didn't walk along, but not much to it. Been a karate studio here forever. I don't know if it's still there, if that's just an old sign. Wellness Revolution. Whatever that is, it's in there. This used to be a high-end furniture store. Now it appears to be a tattoo parlor. Not interested in tattoos. Not slightest bit interested in tattoos. Well, a little bit of rain didn't get any worse. It's let up again now, so that's good. Almost made half an hour. It's definitely not going to be an hour. Unless I stretch it out a bit more. Billiard and patio furniture. Now I'm repeating myself a little bit. We'll go on down to 7th. Cut through the parking lot, I guess. Yeah, that's not a good idea, considering how I almost got run over crossing the street previously. I'll go to the corner. Again, ow, that's the former John Deere. There is a myth that it's a match for the school book depository building in Dallas that Lee Harvey Oswald shot JFK from, but apparently that's a myth. They don't actually match. I mean, it's a big brick box. There's a ton of big brick boxes. Those kinds of myths crop up around old buildings. I don't know what's on the upper floors, various offices and things. Several stores on the bottom, and a coffee shop called Drip, which I've been into a few times. There used to be a high-end bathroom fixtures place in there, but it's gone. Now it's some sort of beauty salon. Unfortunately, I hit these lights just wrong, so we'll have to wait. I'll go on down Broad. Well, just don't ask me to, chew gum and rub my stomach at the same time or whatever that No, it's pat your head and rub your stomach at the same time. That's what we used to have to do to prove our coordination. We will wait. Waiting. See, there's more warehouse down there, so. I just realized I said walking girl. I think I called you working girl when I said hi. Sorry about that. Don't take that the wrong way. I just misread it. There we go. Speaking of fires, which I was earlier, there was a, what was it called? Dalat by Night, I think, a Vietnamese restaurant in here. And it had a fire, and then this whole place was torn down, and there's still a Vietnamese restaurant there, but that one is, unfortunately, was one we quite liked, but it's gone. I think my daughter's 3rd birthday party was there, the one for grown-ups. We always had one for kids for her, and then we'd have a grown-up one. And Saskatchewan Arts Board. They're one of the oldest arts funding organizations in Canada, and they give give grants to artists and other things. So I've served on their jury a few times. Auto Electric has been here a long time. See the little twisty thing over there is part of the public art marking the 1912 tornado. For the centennial, there were several little public art installations. I think that must have a condo in it. It seems to have a garden on the roof. I don't know what it was originally, or if it's in my book. Okay, I think to stretch it out, I'll now start going up and down to Dudney from the next street over. So I work my way back to the car. Again, I have to wait. Shouldn't be long. The left turn signal's going there. Nope, not long at all. This is where we get our car insurance, so, and condo insurance, house insurance. Just thought you'd like to know. He's sort of in a parking spot. Yes, Rebellion Brewing is not far from here. It's just on the other side of Dudney, that way. In fact, we'll see it when I go around the corner here. This building over here is very old. It may not look like much, but what was interesting about it was that it was constructed with bricks made with a machine that made the bricks on the spot, cement blocks, which was very new at the time. So it's a bit of a historic building, even though, you know, it's another tattoo parlor and has really nothing in it of interest architecturally, except for that cement brick construction. Oof! There's a little place there that was a dance store and studio at one point. Not originally, but that's what it became. I really have to be more careful stepping off the curbs. That's the hazard of talking and walking at the same time. Although, viewers always know when I do it, because you always get a bleh or ooh. Harry's Hi-Fi is a high-end audiophile store. It's been there for a long time. Very knowledgeable guy. I think he's still there. I think it's still open. Looks like it. There's lights on inside. I don't know what that is. Doesn't really have a sign on it. And then this is why it's called the Warehouse District. You have this long line of warehouses along Dudney because at one point there was a rail line that ran behind them, sort of where the alley is. And these all went up during homesteading days. So if you were, you know, you came to Regina on the train, you had to get your plow and whatever else you needed before you headed off to your homestead somewhere out on the prairie. And you would get that stuff here. So there was a rail line right about here, a spur line that ran up behind these warehouses for them to load stuff in. And then, of course, you go inside from the front if you were buying. Now there are all sorts of things, and have been all sorts of different things over the years. but there's some pretty solid and interesting old buildings. That's Rebel Brewing right in front of us, one of our local brew pubs. Not really a brew pub. Brewer, craft brewer. They have a little room where you can get some food and off sale, but it's not a extensive menu by any means. Abel and Martha's vintage store. Been in there a few times. And of course, there's downtown, looking across the rail yard. For lease, this one says. Ooh, never a good sign. All the windows are boarded up. That's not a good sign at all, unless they're in the process of developing it, redeveloping it right now. Gales Forest here, but we're going to go up a block and around again to stretch this out. But there's a couple of interesting buildings down here. Yes, I would think it would be very different from your hometown in France. That does not look good. I hope it means they're renovating and not planning to tear it down. I think it would have been in the news if they were. Probably a heritage building. The furniture store here. This is another one of the older, our old buildings here are, our oldest building in town is what, might be 140 years old. That's the cathedral, I think, over St. Paul's Cathedral downtown. Anglican Cathedral. But generally speaking, it's a very young city. So when I say an old building, it might be a century old or a bit older. This one's pretty though. And again, it's had various things in it. I don't remember what it was originally. But it has a lot of different stores in it now. And then the next one, with the sort of Spanish look to it, or Italian look, was a bakery for a very long time, and now I think it's condos. Might have a few other things in it. Crown Bakery still says on the side. There was a Weston Bakery. Used to be you would always smell baking bread when you came down here, which is kind of cool. There's another one of our little local brew pubs, Warehouse Brewing over there. We do have the best brew pub in Canada, in my opinion. But it's not Rebel, and it's not Warehouse, it's Bushwhackers, which we will pass in some fashion here shortly. This is a very old building here. It's nothing to look at, but it is very old by our standards. It actually has a bit of railroad track in it again for, I think it was for working on, is it for working on steam engines? That might not be right. Anyway, it's kind of, as you can see, it's still a steel working, metal working kind of place. And this was a fire engine at one point, I recall. Used to have a tower for drying the hoses in. And then I think was it a type foundry? Oh, I've done tours in this area and told people all this stuff, but it's not in my head reliably. Should have done some research before I came down. Well, this building is from 1635. Oh, well, there's that. Yeah, the Germans, Second World War, did a number on Europe for sure. I remember visiting Krakow, Poland, and it looked, really old, but in the downtown. But every building there had been reconstructed. It was just rubble at the end of the war. We go downtown again as we walk Around another block. Another one of the warehouses. The low gray building over there, about 2 stories tall, is the train station, or was the train station. Passenger trains went away a long time ago. It's now a casino. So another one of the (1926) this one says, so that tells you exactly when it was built. Actually kind of post-dates the boom, but it predates the bust. Is this the Ackerman building? Yeah, this is the Ackerman building. If you go on YouTube and look up Our House by either the Minnow or SS Minnow, there's a music video, which I'm in, and it was shot in a condo up, I think, on the top floor of the Ackerman building there. It was a party, and I was this louse of a husband and father, so while the band's playing and all these people, it was very 80s, all these people having their party. My teenage son was playing video games just up there. I remember I batted him on the side of the head at one point and yelled at him. Then I follow a guest into the bedroom and get caught literally with my pants down. So, you know, look for that. Allied Van Lines, it says on the side. That's presumably the original. Oh, so I didn't really go by it, but Bushwhackers is in here. On this main corner there. Best brew pub in Canada. And I'm not just saying that, they actually won an award to that effect. Also one of the really early ones. They were started by a physics professor from the University of Regina, Bev Robertson, whom my wife actually had as a professor when she was studying engineering. In about 1990, he started Bushwhackers. It's been there ever since. And we try locally brewed beers everywhere we go, and we've never found anything better than Bushwhacker beer. So from our point of view, also, it's the best, not just the best brew pub in Canada, but the best in the world. Except we haven't been overseas to taste beer, so. The only time I was overseas, I wasn't drinking beer at the time. I wasn't drinking alcohol when I was overseas. So I didn't have wine or anything. I think the footsteps are part of an art project to commemorate the residential school, the children who died in residential schools over the years. Indigenous children. I think that's what that's part of. This one I don't think is a going concern. It even smells funny. Oh, you know, I'm going to go this way. This will bring us up beside Bushwhacker again, which is in the warehouse to the left. But I happen to know there's a narrow passage in between them. I think I can walk through unless they've closed it off since the last time I came here. There used to be a upholstery place here that we almost got something upholstered. Was it this, or was it, I guess it was the little one here. But we didn't, and it's gone now. I don't know what's there now, but it's not what it was. down through here. You can sort of see some elements of the old buildings, like used to be some sort of loading door there. There's some old wood from when it was a loading dock down here. There's no one outside much down here. It's not really a pedestrian area. People coming down here are driving to the stores and going straight into the stores, basically. There'd be more people on the street downtown, but it's only 220,000 people in the whole city, so compared to a New York or Paris or somewhere, no, there's nobody around. Or Toronto. But this is not a pedestrian area. You never see you just don't see a lot of people on these streets, except maybe this part of the street, because there's some nightclubs along here. So say on St. Patrick's Day, when people would be going from pub to pub or hanging out, you could get lots of people on the street, or even on a nice Saturday night, I suppose, or after a football game, that sort of thing. But especially back behind Dudney, where it's all just various kinds of businesses and stuff, no, you don't get a lot of people around. Can I go through? Yes, I can. This warehouse over here was heavily damaged in the 1912 tornado. Rebuilt after that. Rude Awakening over there, coffee shop. We have a few Rude Awakenings around town. It's kind of a local chain. So I've written in there once or twice. So on the other side of the street, the green building is the post office. The gold building is Sastel. The tall building to the left is the Delta Hotel. And the gold building on the right is Saskatchewan Government Insurance. And the taller building directly ahead, past the shorter building, is City Hall. There, quick tour downtown. We're almost back to my car. This hotel over here is pretty new. And there's the rail line. I could walk along that, but the footing is uncertain, so I won't. Still says Jack Keaton's Barbecue and Bar, but that was in this space, and now it's Cozy Winter Cuisine and Bar. I'll go around this end of the building because my car is just on the other side. There's a barber shop there I've never tried. And then Don's Photo, which is has been in business a long time for buying photo stuff. And I'm parked right around the corner. So how long did I end up walking? Yeah, it's a bit short, but I was distracted by the fact it kept threatening to rain, and I didn't know how bad that was going to get. So we'll stop here. So no really interesting place to point, but thanks for walking with me live if you did, or if you're watching the recording, thanks for that. And I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.